We've got some shows to cover today, so, stay tuned.
I believe there's a hero in all of us.
You have great powers, only some of which you have as yet discovered.
I'm a superhero, mother.
A real-life superhero.
The world needs extraordinary. We will make you a superhero.
Are you ready to become a hero?
Initiating surprise in 3.
This
2
is
1.
The Real Brian Show.
No fun. We're not having any fun. The show's no fun at all. Absolutely revolting, positively heinous. We're not here to entertain you and make you laugh. No, not at all. But I will tell you that we decided to watch the new DC The Sandman show, so, maybe we'll talk about that in a bit, maybe. I mean, it's possible that what we talk about is what we'll talk about, so, there it is.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone is now dumber for having listened to it.
Oh yeah, but we go to 11. Let's rock it. No, it's the Real Brian Show, and I don't know why we call it this. I'm the Real Brian.
Oh, Brian.
Captain
Influence, and
Hello,
that was
Captain.
Brilliant. That intro was brilliant.
Bloody brilliant, right.
Bloody brilliant.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, nothing stupid, dumb, whatever. Nothing like that.
Not at all. Well, you're getting pretty good at that.
No,
you kind of get stuck in the accent sometimes, and I know it's not quite fantastic, but I'm working on it. See, that wasn't even entirely right, but I'm working on it. It's So we're watching the Great British Baking Show, and I like how there's high class, English, and then there's what I consider to be the poor version of English, I guess. The lower class. The Cockney, yeah, right. It's all like this got me quick, and I don't understand what they're saying half the time. I'm like, are you even completing a Snatch? Yeah, but I'm like, are they completing sentences? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, because it kind of reminds me of the Deep South. When a daggum just talking like this, I'll tell you what.
Maybe Appalachia even.
Yeah.
No, it's
you
just
can't
another
equate intelligence to that though.
Yeah, I don't pretend to even know how to do the Cockney accent, and I don't really pretend to know how to do any British accent. You know why, Brian?
It's just what?
Because I tend to combine British and Australian accents when I try to do a British accent.
Yeah, I understand.
So I rarely try.
I've got my cousins on this. I think I told you this, but I think I've said this before to everybody, but I got my cousins on the British accents, and the girls especially are really kicking butt on it. I mean, they sound like little British kids. It's fantastic. I like it. I'm working on it too. I mean, sometimes I can get into it really well, and I'm just like, I can't stop doing it. And then other times, I get into that one, and that's the problem. So I love accents, and to me,
me too.
It's not something that if I'm like, damn, I gotta get into the Southern accent. I can't even do that now. But it's not that I'm trying to make fun of anyone. I'm trying to just, it's like a term of endearment, or it's an accent of endearment.
The best flattery is imitation, right?
Yeah, you're right. Imitation
That's all it is.
Flattery. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so if you're talking, I can't even do it. I'm trying to do like that Southern accent, the real down South accent. I can't get into it. I'm gonna tell you what.
Get on with the show, Brian. Let's get off.
Well, what I gotta know though is, does this sound at all intelligent to you?
Hey,
see, that's what
we had a president that sounded like that, and he was pretty darn intelligent. At least I thought he was at the time. I was
gonna say he made some, who hasn't made bad decisions in life, But right. I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. You can't equate intelligence to someone's accent, but sometimes it's hard not to when somebody sounds, like certain things. But
yeah, and I think that's a function of our exposure to media, as in. Not the media. I'm talking just like shows, television, movies, where someone who is less intelligent had an accent like that, and I think so. That's kind of conditioned us to think that way, right?
Chicken fried taters.
Yeah. I want some fried potatoes.
Fried potatoes. Mm-hmm. So have you seen Swamp Thing?
No, I still have not. And you said you finally finished. They only did the one season, right?
Yes, I did watch it. It was great. I decided to make, well, this is from our lake, one of the local lakes here that I'm drinking. For those of you watching, you can see this, but if you're listening, it's very moss green, algae green.
Oh, yes.
So what I did is I got a bunch of lake water and then I put it in a jar and just left it out, for a few weeks. And this is what it turned out, and so it's green. But I've been told that there are all kinds of antioxidants and nutrients from drinking stagnant lake water that's been in a jar for weeks. So here it is.
Yeah, try it. Better you than me.
Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, man, that's too much stevia. What the heck is with people and their stevia?
You didn't say you added stevia. That's cheating.
That's disgusting. No, it's... So Sarah, Miss Light, gets... have you ever heard of Thrive Market?
No.
You can order food online, and it's mostly non-perishable stuff, but it's good, healthy food. You can get a decent price, and then they send it to you. So Thrive Market, we get various things from them, and then they send over their freebies all the time. And one of the freebies was a matcha lemonade. And so yes, this is matcha. It's not swamp water.
I thought it looked like matcha, but
it is.
I was going to let you roll with that.
A matcha lemonade, and they basically tell you to put in a tablespoon for the water and everything. And I added an extra teaspoon of straight matcha because it has lemonade as well. So what is it? Like lemon crystals, I think is what it is. And then matcha powder, and then it has something else, and then it has stevia. And I love lemonade. I love matcha. I hate stevia. And I was like, I wonder if I'm going to taste the stevia, because once in a while, dude, this is like over the top on stevia. These guys are like, I don't know what they're, this is like if it weren't stevia, it's a diabetic's dream.
I can't. That's just like
it is so sweet.
Diet soda. I can't drink it anymore because I hate the taste of aspartame so much.
That's bad for you.
If you've moved away from diet soda for a while and then move back to it, you can really taste the aspartame. Like I got a root beer at a restaurant a few weeks back.
Beer? Yeah.
And I started sipping and I was like, yeah, root beer. And I was like, wait a second, this is definitely diet root beer. And sure enough, they brought me a regular one and it was fine. So
that's good. Yeah. I hate stevia. I hate it. Everyone's like, you can't take the stevia. You can't taste it. Oh, it's not there. Oh,
if you're used to it, you can't taste it. It's just like I've gotten used to skim milk. And back when I was drinking 1%, 2% back in the day, I couldn't fathom drinking skim milk. It was like white water, right? But once you start drinking it, I very quickly got used to it, and now it's just like drinking 1% basically.
The thing is, though, is I never liked stevia, so it's one of those that I'm never going to get used to it because I don't like it anyway. I don't like the aftertaste. It's disgusting. It tastes like chemicals to me, and I know it's not. Chemical. Well, it's a plant-derived thing, but what I do love, and we talked about this 1,000 times, I like monk fruit a lot. Sweeten it with monk fruit, or if you want to sweeten it, even with erythritol, that's the other one.
Monk fruit has erythritol in it. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That's what they mix monk fruit with to make it whatever it does. So
yeah, so there's a Swerve, I think, is the famous brand for erythritol. And then monk fruit. Those are the two that I like, or, use a real sugar like honey or maple syrup, or even dates. I like sweetened by dates is a really, really good sweetening too, because it's not too much, but it has a really nice flavor too. But man, I don't know. That stevia is, one, way too overpowered, and two, way too sweet. I mean, I don't know what these people are thinking here. That's got to do something bad to your body. So sorry, Thrive Market. I love the idea of matcha lemonade. That's kind of nasty. So, that was a bad one. Every time I've had a really good drink, and it's been, I think this is gonna be good. But when I see stevia in there, I'm like, ooh, I don't know, dude. Speaking of sugar, do you know Crumbl Cookie? Have you ever? They're all around, but have you ever heard of them?
No, I have not.
Okay, so they're newer to Colorado. But they're around the country and all that. And I love their cookies. They're so good. They taste real. And so one day I was like, I gotta look up these ingredients just to see what the heck these are. And
those cookies taste real? Are you sure?
They taste real. No, they actually do. So they taste like they cook with like butter and like actual real ingredients, not all chemicals and, lab made.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay. They taste, they
taste relatively homemade.
Got it.
Yeah. So they're good. I've always loved them. Apparently it was National Cookie Day last Thursday, so a week ago. I didn't even know that. missed out.
I don't like crumbly cookies though. Are they crumbly?
No. They're just called Crumbl for some reason, but they're super soft and warm, and
Crumbl is misleading. I don't like that. But go ahead.
Yeah, not like crunchy. I hate hard cookies. Absolutely, like with a passion. Can't stand crunchy. You break your tooth kind of cookies. Disgusting. I would rather have them like almost not quite cooked enough that you have to use a spoon to eat them than like hard and crunchy. So
sure.
Yeah, soft and even almost gooey is my thing. But I got to tell you though, so Crumbl's really good. We've enjoyed them. And they've always had all these, like every week or two, they've got like all these different crazy flavors, like lemonade or key lime pie was one. Oh, Captain.
Oh.
So it was literally, it tasted like a key lime pie. The cookie was even made like a pie crust shape. And they had a lime wedge on top. So really, you could squeeze a lot. It was really good. So they do really, really fun things. Well, the other day I was like, I wonder what's even in these cookies. So I decided I'd look up the nutrition facts. And of course, you really don't want to know, but you kind of also want to know. And so the first thing is that I was right that they actually do, for the most part, use natural ingredients. And so that was really encouraging. But then some of them have some artificial things in them, like the food coloring and stuff like that. But here's what absolutely blew my mind. 70 grams of sugar per cookie in some of these cookies. And I was like, what the...
Yeah.
Oh, that was like,
you think they could back off a bit and still have really good cookies, right?
Well, they do, because there are some cookies that are in the 20-something grams of sugar, or maybe in the 30s at the most.
Right.
And those are the ones that we now will get, little did I know that. And honestly, I got them and I'm like, they're plenty sweet. Even with 29 grams of sugar, they're still like plenty sweet.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine 70 grams. I feel like I would be like in a coma, like a diabetic coma or something like that.
You'd have to lay off cookies for a couple weeks after you have one, that's for sure.
Well, and they had like 156% trans fats, in some of those too. And I just thought,
wow.
Whoa, okay. Maybe we should know. And again, it's like, okay, they've got mostly natural stuff. That's good. But I didn't know that. So now that you can look at the cookies they have right now for the week, and then you can look at the nutrition facts and decide, I don't want the 70 gram of sugar one. And I don't want, okay. And then I'm picking the ones that are what look to me to be relatively healthy and not going to kill you kind of thing. And again, they're plenty sweet and they're still fantastic. So there's nothing bad about them, but I can't even imagine eating the ones that are that bad.
Dude, they should have the sugar and add a little bit of MSG.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. So MSG, what else? All of the food colorings, all of those, the artificial flavors. What's the one? Oh yeah, high fructose corn syrup. We got to get as much in that as possible. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That'd be great. Speaking of baking, have you ever seen the Great British Baking Show?
Did you ask me that before?
I might have asked you that last week.
Yeah, and maybe I still haven't.
Talked about it gaming. I don't know if I talked about this or not, but we finally checked it out. It was a recommendation from our neighbor. Uh-huh. And I mean, there's the American one too, but she was saying, well, the British one is more fun because it's just fun. It's crazy. But they're nice to each other,
this is all familiar. You said all this last week, I think.
It was either last week or while we were gaming. I don't know. I mean, one way or the other, we've enjoyed it, but that just reminded me of it. And the one thing that kind of not freaked me out, but it what's the word? It was new to me. They use squid ink for food coloring.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
And apparently it tastes good. So guess what I got to try next?
Oh, you're gonna have a squid ink smoothie?
I got to try it. I don't know what it is. I've never heard of it.
Where would you get it?
I have no idea, but I got to try to find it. So let's do this.
Call Lord Thunder and have him ship you some. He lives by the ocean.
Oh yeah. Hey, so Thunder, could you capture a squid? I mean, ideally,
he does that in his sleep, no
squid,
problem.
Like
giant
one
squid.
of the big ones, and just get some, milk it, just milk the squid, get some. Yeah. Hopefully you can do that. So yeah, that'd be great. Just into a saucer and then just ship it over. That'd be awesome. So Captain, what are you nerding out on?
Dude, I found a Spotify station called American Top 40 the 1980s. It's not by Spotify. It's by one of their listeners. It has 2,203 songs that last 149 hours plus.
Wow.
It is awesome. Like heaven. And
like Belinda Carlisle heaven?
Everything. It's got, I mean, if it was a song in the 80s and it made the top 40, it was there.
Wait, I think we're going to get flagged for singing. Sorry.
No,
you're not allowed to sing.
No cease and desist, I promise. There are so many songs I'd forgotten about when you listen to it. So if you love the 80s and you don't mind obscure 80s music mixed in with your good 80s music, American Top 40, the 1980s. That's your Spotify mix. That's what I'm going to recommend for the week.
Can you send me the link and I'll link it on the show notes and on the YouTube channel? Because I actually want to check it out because I mean, 80s is fun. So give me the popular, but also give me some of the obscure. Like, for example, how come I didn't know about Kate Bush all these years? I'm so mad.
Yeah. So 2,203 songs. I'd like to think that might be the entirety of all of the songs in the 1980s. Well, I mean, all the ones that got recorded and were on the radio at least, right? That's crazy. That's a lot and the cool thing is whenever I play it, and I always play it on mix, random, whatever.
Shuffle. Yeah.
Shuffle.
Yeah.
I'm guaranteed different songs every day.
That's really neat. I love it. Well, yeah, when you've got, what did you say, 149 hours? That's a long time. That's pretty cool.
It's a long time.
You know, I'm really forced to drink Adam's Ale today because of that stevia, and I'm really bummed about this, man.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
I love my water, but I'd like to do something kind of creative and fun. But, well, thank you for that. We're going to link that, and I'm going to check that out because that'll be fun. I've got some new music too while we're at it. So
go for it.
Well, I've got 5 songs, but I'm only going to give you 3 this week, and we'll save some for next week. But another Dead Ma 5 song. Just kidding. Dead Mouse.
Dead Ma 5.
I had to throw
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole group of people. It's got, what do we call them? Kaskade and Dead Ma 5.
Kaskade and Dead Ma 5.
Yeah, I like that one. Kaskade, Dead Mouse, Kayla, yada, 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 some other people in there. But anyway, the song's called Escape. It's really actually kind of fun. It's one of the new ones. Very different from, the older stuff that, we were talking about earlier, but it's good. And then I've got another Fleurie song in here for the summer because it is actually called Rain in the Summer. So it's a summer song. Get it on your list now if you like Fleurie. And then here's one, Captain, I'm going to throw out. Did you hear that? That it's like right there.
Yeah.
My whiskers got caught in the pop filter.
Do that again.
That's a new one. Actually, it kind of hurts.
Catching your whiskers.
It's like ripping my skin. That's a new one. I'm gonna have to remember that. This is a fine mesh filter, and with the stubble growth, the Oliver Queen look right now, I'm ripping my skin off. Here's my third one, Disturbed. You remember them?
I vaguely remember Disturbed from the early 2000s. Yes.
Yeah, they got a new song out that's actually fun. This is courtesy of the Mad Scientist. He said, "Hey, you got to check out this song. It's really good. It's got a cool drum part and everything in there." And so I said, "I'll check it out." And I listened to it. I'm like, "Oh, this is cool. Okay, I like it." Wow, it's called Hey You. So if you're, in a hard rock and Disturbed and everything else, Hey You, there you go. It's fun.
Is it a cover of the Pink Floyd Hey You? Or?
No, it's an original. Well, as far as I know, it's an original, but it's not the Pink Floyd song. But it's a very hard song, hard rock. So which I
don't even know if that song's called Hey You. I just know there's
the Pink Floyd song is Hey You. Yes, Hey You. Yeah, is it me you're looking for? No, dang it, that's Hello. Oh, I was thinking about doing a mashup with Lionel Richie Hello and Adele's Hello, because the lyrics actually kind of creepily go along with each other, like hello, and they'd be like, hello, is it me you're looking for? And then it's the one where it's like, I've been waiting for you or something like that. So I thought we could do a mashup. I don't know how to do that, but wouldn't it be fun? So there you go. The Dead Mouse, the Fleurie song, and the Disturbed songs, all on the TRBS 2022 Spotify mix. I'll link those, of course, in the show notes and in the description below, too, so if you want to go check those out. And also follow that Spotify mix, if you're on Spotify, that is. And, I'm putting out new stuff all the time. Now, I put out a lot of new stuff, by the way, in my personal one that is just called TRB's Gloriousness. I've got stuff in there that I don't ever talk about on the show. A lot, actually. So, I'd recommend following that one. That's also linked. And then, of course, the TRBS 2022. We've got them from every year that we've talked about. And then, of course, Captain, you've got your Captain Influence playlist that we've got linked in there. Same thing. Yep. You've got stuff you put in there that you don't always talk about. So,
right. Lots.
Check it out. Okay. Guess what, Captain?
What?
I finally, little late to the party here. Finally saw Top Gun Maverick. Didn't it come out like last year or something like that, 2021 or something, or
just a couple months ago? You're not too late. Maybe a month ago.
Maybe
a month and a half ago.
I finally saw it, man. So exciting.
Good, and
wow, so good. Lived up to the. It actually lived up to the hype. I had a lot of hype. Yeah. A lot of people say it's the best dang movie I've ever seen. You know, in some ways, I got to tell you, it was better than the first one because the first one's classic, you know, and it's nostalgic. But having watched it, I watched it a few months ago, and it's the first time that I think I've watched it since I was quite a bit younger. And I was just like, this movie really is pretty cheesy. It's awesome, but it's cheesy. I mean, the music is cheesy. And you know, the whole like, you know, beach volleyball scene. And I'm like, I need to rip my shirt off right now. Just, you know, go out and be like, woo, you know. And of course they had to do that again, except it wasn't volleyball, but you know, it was a beach shirtless scene. And I'm like, I need to go rip my shirt off again. So I should take it off right now. No, not right now.
You should. Go Johnny Pistol Shot on us.
Yeah, just start taking shirts off, man. I got to tell you though, it was really, really fun. I loved it. There were so many things. I mean, honestly, I have no complaints about it. The soundtrack was awesome. The way that Hans Zimmer took the original Harold Faltermeyer theme and just took it to its it's Hans Zimmer magnificence, or it's like Zimmer.
He Zimmerfied the movie is what he did.
It's really good. And I mean, everybody did a great job. They tied it together. The nostalgia was just right on point. Not too much, not too little. Beautiful. I still am blown away by the flying, considering that was all real. That just blew me away. It was incredible to watch that, and so cool to actually see them all pulling cheese.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that's funny. They just didn't address that very much in the first movie, nor have they addressed it very much in any similar films since then.
Yeah.
So that was a nice thing it was nice to show how much physical endurance you have to have to be a pilot like that.
It was really kind of interesting because having read that article about them pulling G's and doing real footage, and then watching them again, rewatching the first movie a few months ago, clearly they weren't, you know. It's obvious that it was just, you know, whatever in the background, green screen or something like that. And, you know, they're like spinning up and down. They're like, wee, yeehaw, whatever, you know. And then in this one, they're like, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh. So it was good. If you've not seen Top Gun Maverick, I mean, 100% recommendation. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was like you said, everyone we've talked to has liked it, and we both liked it. And yeah.
I got to say, I'm really surprised. And by the way, I know I'm not the only one, because some other people were kind of like, wait a minute, did you know? And we're like, no, we didn't know. And that is that Locke and Key season 3 came out this week. It came out on Wednesday, and we were all like, wait, what? Season 2 just came out. It did.
Yeah, it's almost like season 2.5 instead of season 3, right?
I feel like they were kind of recording both back to back really, really quickly on purpose, because this is the final season. But no, I mean, I've been kind of looking like what's coming, and Locke and Key season 3 was not mentioned on any lists that I have seen at all.
Interesting.
So I think a lot of people were pretty surprised by this, but I was okay. Well, unfortunately, because it wasn't marketed, I have to push it down on my list a little bit because we have so many other things we're watching right now.
Yeah, so many things are out right now. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's funny. It's amazing how it went from like, okay, we got nothing. Boom! Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm still trying to finish Umbrella Academy. I'm still working my way through Orville season 3. DC's The Sandman just came out. The Winx, the Fate, or Winx Saga, whatever it's called, the Fate Saga. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, to me, it was okay. I'm going to watch it anyway. It was still kind of fun. And then Lord of the Rings comes out in September. And I mean, there's so much coming out right now. It's out of control. But one thing that we did want to talk about was the Sandman, the DC version of the Sandman, the Neil Gaiman version, because, well, why not? It's one of those that I did not read the comics, but I'm very curious about it. So I wanted to watch the show and see what happened. And also it's DC, so you kind of wonder, is it going to be good or not? Because sometimes it's a hit or miss.
They're hit or miss, yeah.
Yeah, so we wanted to at least talk about the first episode, by the way. That's as far as we both got. So Captain, thoughts?
My thoughts are very brief, but I really thought the first episode was interesting. It was not what I was expecting. I didn't really know what to expect going into it, but I loved it. I also loved the soundtrack. Did you notice the soundtrack? I know you did.
I did, yep.
It was beautiful. It was kind of ethereal a little bit, and I just really liked the chords that they used and whatnot. I thought it went really well with the dream, kind of theme. But I also like the scope of the first episode. The first episode covers several decades in the 20th century. So, at the end of the first episode, they show a coming up this season type of little mashup to give you an idea of what kind of things you're going to be seeing. And I watched it, and
I didn't.
It looks it's definitely tantalizing. So
okay. Yeah, for me, the soundtrack was really, really good. It fit very nicely with the show. It's not one of those soundtracks that I'm necessarily going to run out and listen to on its own.
Of course.
There are some soundtracks that just lend itself to just listening to over and over and over, and because they stand alone, I guess. To me,
Braveheart.
this didn't really. Yeah, exactly. Most James Horner, Hans Zimmer, John Williams, all that good, Basil Polidoris, all those guys. But this one to me didn't really stand out as a standalone type thing, but it was beautifully. It was very, very cinematic, and it fit beautifully, is what I was trying to say on that. But yeah, you're right. It spans over 100 years, which apparently in the comics it's 70-ish. I think is what I read, 70-ish years. And in the I think it was from the 20s to 1986 is what it was. And so in this, in the comics, in this it has to fit from, I think it was 1919 is where it starts.
16. It's middle of World War I.
You're right, 1916, and then it's 10 years later, so then that's 1926. And then it says over 100 years later in order to fit with present day,
Current
essentially.
times,
so we're in the 2022 range or whatever it is. So
right.
A little bit of a change. They've changed a few things as usual. They do that. But, to me, the dream world in the very beginning was amazing. It was very cool looking, very imaginative. And I was just like, ooh, this is kind of cool. And at first I was like, okay, I don't really want to do the whole 19 teens or 20s thing. But then it grew on me, and then it ended up like, fast forwarding anyway. And so it was fine. Parts of it that I absolutely loved. And then there were parts of it that I was like, that's okay. We'll see what happens. I'm intrigued overall. And the actor who is playing Dream, a.k.a. the Sandman, looks like something out of Twilight.
He looks exactly like he's in Twilight, yes.
Yeah, and
who is that actor? What else
clue.
was he in? Have we seen him in anything else?
I've never seen him before personally. I don't know anything about him. So, in fact, I've never seen really most of the father. I've seen him before.
Oh, of course,
but
yeah. He was in Game of Thrones and all sorts of other stuff, yeah.
But I would say I don't think I've recognized any of the other actors, interestingly. Like, to me, I was like, well, I've never seen these people before, which is kind of refreshing, yeah. But I don't know. Everybody looked kind of interesting to me. It was a very bizarre kind of feel, and I think that's kind of the intention of it. But I'm intrigued. Let's put it that way. I'm intrigued. I'll keep watching. I'm optimistic in some ways, but on the other hand, it is kind of a darker feel, which I'm not into as much. So we'll see how far I get into it. But
fair enough.
I don't know.
And it's going to get more bizarre as far as what you were describing, characters looking and stuff. It's going to get more bizarre based on what I saw at the end. So
okay, the premise is cool though. Like the story behind it, the idea behind it seems really cool, and I'm a fan of that anyway. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Well, Captain, I'm going to bring up a quick article here.
Oh, go for it.
Okay, this is for everybody though. Okay, so it's funny having these conversations with many of you, by the way, and realizing that many of you are what we're calling multi-passionate. It's kind of funny. It's a relatively newer term that has kind of become popular within the last few years. And many times I'll talk to people and they're just kind of like, oh, I've never even, thought of that or didn't realize I was a quote multi-passionate. It's just kind of like, oh, I just have a lot of interest, So it's not something that's a very commonly used term, but I've been doing some fascinating research on it just to kind of find out, what is it? What are people defining it as? And there's actually a lot of good newer material out on it, which I appreciate. And then there's some really bad material out on there. And I just wanted to point out this article that I thought was funny. The title of the article is You're Not Multi-Passionate. You just have a procrastination problem. And I was like, what? What? So I'm like,
that sounds like an editorial, but go ahead.
Oh, it's in Entrepreneur magazine, which is a very famous one. But so I thought, okay, I'm not going to mention this author's name or anything like that, but she's basically saying that, okay, it's an excuse that keeps you from fully committing and moving forward. And I thought,
interesting.
Okay, I'll bite. Let me read this. And so, I'm looking at it. She's talking about, are you a squirrel? Are you saying that here's a little tough love. Here it is. It's like, it's in a world where there's so many different passions to choose from. How could you possibly just choose one? So here's a little tough love that you might have never thought about. Saying you're multi-passionate is really just a procrastination excuse. It's an excuse that keeps you from fully committing and moving forward. And then she talks about, are you a squirrel? And, blah, 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 blah. And so take a piece of the pie and then commit to it. You just can't decide. You're indecisive. You just won't, whatever, right? That's essentially what's going on.
And that's her opinion, and she's welcome to it.
And she's 100% wrong too, by the way. And it's not even just an opinion. Like, she is wrong about that. But here's the thing. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. If there is, because people like this exist, if there's somebody out there that is indecisive And maybe they do have a lot of interests, but they're just kind of like, I don't know which one I should pick, and I don't really know what I should do, and maybe they are indecisive and they don't finish things. Now, here's the thing: I've known a lot of multi-passionate people throughout my life, and there is a weakness for multi-passionates, and that is not following through and seeing something to the end. Okay. Now, sometimes you don't need to, and so why? Why do if you're reading a book that you don't like, or you're watching a TV show or a movie that you don't like, then don't finish it. Like, who cares, right? Or, it's the same kind of thing. Like, well, I'm doing a hobby, but I don't care about it anymore. Well, then don't, move on. That's fine. But if you're,
and then maybe you'll come back to it later.
Yeah, or maybe not. But if you're doing something for someone, or you're committed to something, you've committed. Like, okay, well, I'll do this for you, and then you bail on them because you just don't quote feel like it anymore. That's immature. That's disrespectful, right? So there's a level of what I call multi-passionate maturity that needs to happen one way or the other. And there is something to be said about being perseverant and, finishing. So that's a good
even as
trait.
A multi-passionate. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. That's a great trait. And so and also being decisive is very, very important too. So if you are indecisive, it's a weakness. It's not something that is a good trait. That's something that you should learn how to overcome and, get better at and that kind of thing, or find some strategies that help you to make decisions faster. Because, being indecisive is also incredibly stressful if you think about it. Because I've had my times in my life too where I've been indecisive, and it's just like, it's agonizing after a while.
Because you're in your head, it's just gobs and gobs of variables, right? Do I do this or do this and that? If you're decisive, it's just, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
And there's no movement forward. There's just kind of back and forth all the time. And it just, you're spinning your wheels. It's very frustrating.
Right.
And sometimes you're stuck in a place because you don't know the best answer. And so then you go, well, do you just take a leap of faith and see what happens? Or do you need to, do a little more research? And I think that there's both, so
right.
To her point, there are people, again, who are indecisive. There are people who are unwilling to choose something because they just don't want to get started. They're lazy, or they do truly procrastinate because they're scared to get started or whatever it is. So there is that.
Right.
So that's to be fair to this author's point. And yes, those are things that should be overcome, because sometimes just starting is a great thing. And I'm 100% on board with that. And sometimes, like I look back in my life and I say, there are times where I literally just said, I'm just going to do it. Literally. I don't know. I don't need to do the research. I'm like, well, how are you going to do it? What's I don't know. I don't care. Let's just go for it and let's see what happens. It's not like it's going to be that big of a deal if it doesn't work out, right?
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
And
usually.
I would say that 90+% of the time, every single one of those situations turned out to be a good thing, even if it didn't necessarily work perfectly, because I learned from it. And I learned what not to do next time and what to do better. So it was a wonderful thing. And why not? You just go have a good time and enjoy it. Here's the other thing, dude.
So what this author's doing is that they're putting all multi-passionates in this box, which people tend to do.
Yeah.
It's an instinct. We all do it. We all do it to a certain degree. And the people just don't fit in that box. It's not all multi-passionates are lazy or procrastinative. I mean, they just aren't. So to your point, I'm just summarizing.
Very true.
Sorry.
No, that's very true. And so I would like to this author say that, if you really truly are someone with a lot of interests and talents, this is the other thing I've heard too, is that multi-passionates are jack of all trades, or what do they call it? Jill. So jack or Jills of all trades,
right.
I think is what it is. Anyway, and masters of none, which, by the way, if you're a true multi-passionate, that's also not true. Because true multi-passionates are able to learn things quickly and master things quickly if they want to. It's a bizarre talent. It's a wonderful gift. I've been told this too. It's like, well, you're really good at that. You're really good at that. You're really good at that. I'm like, because somehow I'm able to learn quickly. And it's because I'm so interested in it at that time that I devour it fast and I learn fast and I'm like into it and I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to get as good as I can at it until I don't need it or want to worry about it anymore. It just kind of depends. Like when I built my computer, my gaming computer, I devoured everything I could. I learned all about it. I found the best prices on things and I built it, and I thankfully was able to do it in one try. Everything worked out well, and it's been a great computer.
Yeah.
And that was it. I haven't consumed anything about building computers or computer components since. I just don't care about it anymore. It's like when I need to build it again or move on or upgrade, I'll do it again, So but that's the thing, is that I think there's a there is a beautiful superpower if you are a multi-passionate. And I'm saying this because many of you listening to the show, watching the show are multi-passionate. And I am tired of the world saying that it's a weakness or it's a, you're a lazy procrastinator or, you just need to pick something and grow up and suck it up. Like, that's BS. It's full on BS. And so, if you do have those weaknesses of procrastination, laziness, indecisive, et cetera, indecision, that is, then, by all means work on those things. But if you're a true multi-passionate, then it's a superpower. It's a gift. I'm empowering you to take it and run with it and go for it. So I just wanted to throw that out because I did not expect to read an article that was so disrespectful and
derisive
wrong.
Of multi-passionates. Yeah,
but just flat out wrong too. So I wanted to point that one out. So anyway, there you go.
Well, thanks for sharing. I just want to say that article was the cat's pajamas.
Thank you. I was just going to say, we've got something beautiful that you need to do. And I think, is that your origin this week? Is that what
was that a little too obvious? I'm sorry.
No, because it was true, because it's like the bee's knees or the cat's pajamas or the grasshopper's antennae. I don't even know.
The grasshopper's thorax. Anyway, credit to my lovely wife, who I'm taking out to eat 1 week late this week for her birthday. Finally, that's her fault, not mine. But she's the one who came up with this week's origin. And I'd never heard anyone say the cat's pajama. That's the cat's pajamas. I've never heard anyone utter that phrase before.
I've heard it a lot. Oh yeah.
Okay, because I know it's common. I just don't. Uttered. I've never heard it. So
I know what it means, but I was like, why does somebody say that? So I'm glad you're bringing it up.
Yeah, exactly. So I got my sources from medium.com and phrases.org.uk, which is ironic because it's actually an American phrase. So there are several ideas on this one, but the majority seem to follow the story that in 1920s America, specifically on the Eastern Seaboard, like New York, etc., pajamas were just coming into fashion as a woman's item of actual daytime apparel. I didn't know that. It was something that women started wearing in the daytime if they were fashionable, though still slightly risque. The term cat was flapper slang for a fashionable young woman.
Oh, yeah. So that's the whole she's a cool cat. Like we hear stuff like that all the time.
Well, this was later taken up by jazz circles and morphed into a name for one of either sex who exhibited style as cool. Yeah, as a cool cat or a hep cat. I've never heard hep cat. Maybe hip cat? I don't know. But thus, the cat's pajamas became a way to say that someone was cool, great, special, the best. Other phrases such as the gnat's whiskers, the snake's hips, the kipper's knickers, the monkey's eyebrows, the clam's garters, and the eel's ankles, and who can forget the bee's knees?
Yeah, and now the grasshopper's thorax.
Grasshopper's thorax. Yeah, that they were all invented around the same time in the same vein. And dude, I can just picture some socialite flappers and their boyfriends at a party getting high on amphetamines, joking about what goofy new phrases they can invent that might stick. I mean, can't you just picture that?
Oh yeah.
So awesome. Anyway, another story places the origin with a certain E.B. Katz, who was an English tailor of the late 1700s and early 1800s, who made the finest silk pajamas for royalty and other wealthy patrons. However, there's little evidence to back this claim, and both Merriam-Webster and the Oxford English Dictionary both back the 1920s origin in the eastern U.S. So the funniest origin, I just want to share this last, comes from the Urban Dictionary. The number 8 definition reads, quote, a synonym for awesome. I actually coined this phrase in 1968 during a hallucination where I thought I saw a cat wearing pajamas. It was really just a dead bush, unquote.
That's awesome.
So I guess anyone can go into the English. Is the Urban Dictionary kind of like Wikipedia, where anybody can go in there and add their own little? But
it's almost always comical, though. It's always like, to me, it's always like just a complete joke and absolute ridiculous. But that's what I love about it too. It's so funny.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So there you go. That's where the cat's pajamas came from. And you know what? So now that I'm aware of it, I'm going to use it more often. So
I love it. Well, I love the original origin too, and it is kind of funny how pajamas became pajama mamas. How they were kind of coming into fashion in the early 1920s, and here we are, and people wear them out all the time now. So apparently it's it was a 2000 teens, 20 teens. Well, thanks, Captain. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
You're the cat's pajamas.
Oh, thanks, dude. So are you.
Cool cat. I appreciate that.
You're the bee's knees, Brian.
You're the grasshopper's thorax.
Deep Thoughts with Captain Influence.
If your goal is shredded pajamas and a lot of blood, try putting pajamas on your cat. Who knows? Maybe shredded, bloody pajamas could be worth something someday.
Well, you know what the music means.
They do.
You're the Grasshopper, Thorax, for listening and watching. Thank you for joining us today. Really, I mean, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for you, because we'd be just talking to ourselves, and that's just not as fun. I mean,
we don't. It's like we don't do that, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, remember, you know the links, all the show notes, everything. Have a glorious week. The Real Brian Show, signing off.
The Real Brian Show is a production of 514 Media at 514mediaempire.com.